we're going from Sydney to Port Macquarie, and yeah, you could use this as a tutorial. Most people fly the Airbus 320, but you could still use this plane, this tutorial for the 320. You know, everything's pretty much the same. So let's get into how we set up the FMC here. So usually you could do this in the pre-flight, but EFB isn't working right now, so I can't set anything up. So we're just going to set it up manually, which is how, you know, if you want to be realistic, this is how you'd have to do it in real life. So we're going from Sydney Airport, and we're going to Port Macquarie, which is YPMQ, Yankee Papa Mike Quebec, and that's our from to. Perfect. Cost index says something like 20. This is a short flight. It's about 170 nautical miles. Whoops, I set that to flight number. Cruising flight level and temp. So I'm going to keep my flight level quite low because it's a short flight. So we're going to go flight level. We're heading east. So yeah, let's say like flight level 210 here. And temperature. I don't even know what the temperature is going to be up there. I don't even know if this works if I do like -10. I feel like it might not work. Okay, it does work. Anyway, it's going to be cold. See here we have 173 nautical mile distance, but this is a direct flight, so now we got to set in our waypoints. I use onlineflightplanner.org to help me, you know, do my flight plans when I can't use the game. So I'm going to post this my screen here on my phone where I got the flight plan. I'll post a screenshot. So the first waypoint, it says SID to Olsum. So we need to go into this SID. So we click our airport, go to departure page, or left. Oh, there it is. All right, 34 left. And what's our departure? Olsum. So we're gonna go check if there's an Olsum departure for 34 left here. What did it do? Olsum. Is there? It's not there. So it might be in a transition. They don't have any transitions, do they? That'll happen sometimes if... Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to see if the flight plan... So I know that I need to head somewhere northeast. I know that's where my general direction is. So northeast is about heading, you know, 45, 40. So I'm going to take a SID that brings us to that heading. So this isn't going to work. Let's try CADM. CADM brings us west, which we don't want. Rick brings us west, but shorter. What about this one? That one might be a little bit better. Looks like it's bringing us north-ish. Alright, whatever. So we're going to go with this one. And doesn't look like there's transitions available, so sometimes you just don't have the right runway for your SID. That's fine. So we're gonna do this. We'll insert it, so it should show up here. There we go. So yeah, it looks like just a manual departure here, nothing too hard. Then we're gonna go into Whiskey Lima Mike, Whiskey Lima and Mike, there we go, is our next waypoint. So we're going to go ahead and set that here. Whiskey Lima Mike, insert it, and then from there we're going direct to our final waypoint. We have a discontinuity, which we don't want, so we'll clear that discontinuity here. Not allowed? What do you mean not allowed? Alright, we'll see later if I can figure out how to take off this discontinuity. But anyway, that's how you mostly set up your FMC. And now let's get ATC contacted and just get ready for... actually, we're not going to use ATC because we can't file a flight plan, so request pushback from here. Yeah, there we go. Pushback like that. And with nav mode on. So now, unfortunately, we need to find our way to runway 34 left without having access to our EFB. Those of you who are wondering, the EFB hasn't been working since the update, so yeah, we can't really use it. So we're just gonna have to try to blind taxi our way through here. So let's stop the tax, pushback. Pushback is done. Alright, and let's set our flaps to... Oh, flaps are already set. Cool. Alright, so I'm just gonna make sure I get my flaps set right. There we go. Yeah, it's a little glitch here on the plane too. Reverse thrust. We don't want to reverse. Alright, there we go. And let's get taxiing to runway 34. So I know that runway 34 is going to be opposite of the way I'm going right now, so I probably have to taxi to the other end of the runway here. Flying in the beautiful Qatar A330-200. I think this is a dash 200. Haven't flown it in a little while. Excited to fly it again. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe for this A330 flight here. Alright, here we are. Let's review just our takeoff here. So we just did everything here. It calculates it all on its own. Altimeter. We pressed send to FMGS, which just sends it to your FMC down here. And we have to put it in manually here. So 135, 144, and 145 on V2. 44, 45 on V2. That's fine. Flex to temp. That said 72 degrees, I think it said on my. Yeah, there we go. Flaps and trim. That's fine. Alright, so we have 96.1 on that takeoff thrust. Alright, let's get taken off here. So that's about all I set up for my departure. This is runway 34 left, and we are going to be taking off right over there, heading to the left here. Alright, does it give us our trim setting? Should. Yeah, 6.6 up, it says on the trim. Slash 6.6 up. Does that work? Yeah, up 6.6. There we go. So we'll set that on our. Alright, so wait, that's 7, that's 6, and then 6.6 is probably right there. Or at 6.5, but that's fine. Alright, so speed, I actually want my speed to be selected speed here, and set it to about 210 for after departure. Vertical speed, we're going to set it to about, not that much, 2500 after departure, which we'll maintain. And we're flying pretty much straight out on the departure. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to Whiskey Lima Mike. And then after that, we should be going to our arrival. Is there a flight plan discontinuity? Yeah, there is. So we're going to clear that. And now, should make more sense. Okay, I don't know what was going on with the flight plan earlier, guys, but we got it fixed. So let's go ahead and take off. We're looking at 96.1 on that thrust. Here we go on takeoff for some reason. Alright, so stabilize these engines, and we'll get the thrust up to about 96 here. There we go. I think that's takeoff thrust set. And pushing down on the yoke here. Looks like we're only at 92% thrust. That's fine. We'll hold it there. We're rotating at 144 here. We are currently at 100. And accelerating still to 120. And we're coming up on 144. V1. And rotate. Positive right gear up. Alright. And we are climbing. We're going to keep that going straight out. And then we'll make a right hand turn towards our arrival airport. Alright. Cool. So coming out of 1,000 feet now. Slowly put that nose down a bit, gain us some speed here. Alright, and I'll be making a right turn here. Start heading towards our flight plan. We're going to be flying over Sydney, it looks like. Alright. Perfect, there we go. So that our right turn made. We've got Sydney down off to the right. Going to put the flaps up here. And we're going to set autopilot on here, so we should be following our flight plan. I'm going to turn auto throttle on. Speed hold on. Perfect, everything's set. Let's take a look at Sydney down there. Ooh, city of Sydney. That's not really rendering in, but looks good enough, right? Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 still has some work to do. Alright, so I'm going to put the vertical speed down a little bit more here, just give the plane some breathing room to get that takeoff going. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom into my flight plan line here. So the engine started slowly moving down as we are getting to 210 knots here. And we should be making a left turn to meet up with our flight plan here. So we're intercepting our flight plan line and making that left turn as we expected. Alright. So tell us if we're on climb, thrust, or actual mode, yeah. Alright. Cool, so making that left turn, we're gonna go ahead and push the engines up to 240 knots. And then we'll be pushing it past 250 once we cross 10,000. We've got a nice view of Australia down to our left and right. Got our wing view in this Qatar Airlines A330. And we are now out of 6,300 here. Engines are pushing. Looks like our climb thrust is set to something like 99. So we can go ahead and climb a little bit faster now. Get those engines working. Fuel on board. Yeah, I think we have too much fuel because I set it up before the flight, but I think that's too much fuel, honestly. 34,000, 38,000 kilograms. Yeah, that's a lot of pounds of fuel used. Gross weight. Anyway, I think I set the fuel down lower and then it went back to whatever it wanted to. Usually it sets it to 50% fuel. I guess I could have set it here actually in payload. Yeah, fuel max. Yeah, so it's set to 38,000 when it should be at like 10,000. I had set it to 28,000 pounds, so that's about, if I do a fly load, I don't want to do it in the middle of the flight actually. I'm afraid it's going to mess my plane up or something, but alright, cool. So we're climbing nicely here. We're about to climb out at 10,000 feet. So 10,000 feet. Go ahead and push the engines up to about 320 knots here. Here we go. And this is flashing, telling me that, hey, you are now past your transition altitude, which we set to 10,000. So we are going to set this back to standard. And speeding up now. So this is going to be a nice short flight, only 170 nautical miles. And we are not contacting ATC because EFB isn't working. Unclickable still. I don't know why they haven't fixed it. They decided to just not do anything, but yeah, it's not clickable in game unless it's the EFB that's right up here, but this is the EFB that comes with the plane. So let's do our little calculation for fun here. 3270. So we're currently at 21,000 feet. 21,000 minus 3270, so we have 17,730 feet to go down. And let's say we want to do it at about 1,500 feet per minute. So that'll take us 11.82 minutes. And we are currently going, 11.82 minutes, we'll divide that by 60 to give it to us in hours. So that's about 0.197 hours. And we're going 300, or actually what's our ground speed? 453 nautical miles per hour. So multiply this by 453. And that gives us 89. So that tells us that when we're about 89 miles out, we want to start our descent. But that's assuming that we are going to be maintaining 453 knots the whole time, which isn't true. We'll be slowing down. So we could even, push that even further and, start descending maybe at 70 miles out. Take into account the slowing down, but we'll play it safe and we'll start descending around 90 to 85 miles. So right now we're at 121. So we're about 40 nautical miles out, but it's going to come pretty quick. We're at 90 now, so this is pretty much where we want to start our descent. So zoom in a little bit, get a nice view on the airport here, and set that to 3,000 feet. Vertical speed negative 1,500, and selected. So we're going to start descending, and let's get the engines slowing us down here at about 300 knots, and we'll slow down some more once we get close to 10,000 feet. I'm going to start using my heading mode now. I turn to heading. Just head straight north to 0. And selected heading. So we are starting that turn. We're getting close to 10,000 feet, so I'll try to get this plane slowing down to about 240 knots. And we'll set everything that we need to at the 10,000 mark. Nose lights. I guess taxi lights. Nose lights is set to taxi. We're not taking off. Alright, so we're going to monitor now our engines, make sure that we will descend, lower our speed at a good rate here, as we want to make sure that we slow down low enough on it soon. We have airport in sight. Might be this right up here. There's like a long strip of something. At the airport. I don't see anything else that looks like an airport, so must be that. And it does look like we are getting just past it, so it would make sense. Alright, so we're aiming for 3,000 at PQNI. Let's put our vertical speed up again a little bit. And remember, at 250 knots, we can set our next notch of flaps, which is right about now. Oh, so it's telling us that we're put too much flaps, I guess. Looks like it went straight to 2 for some reason. Anyway, it's gonna stop. Yeah, there we go. But that's weird. See, it said 205 over here. So this is wrong. This should say 205. Anyway. Be holding at about 200 knots now, and letting the plane bring us in nice and slow. Alright, there it is. So I just want to see approach speed and landing speed. 127. That seems so slow, and I don't even know what the minimums are for our approach, so we'll just say it's like 300 feet, right? That's what it usually is. 300 to 200. 300. Oh, it's not working. Gosh, it's my biggest pet peeve on this game. Just let me touch the 0. 3, 0, 0. There we go. There. Alright. Cool. So it looks like we're starting to make that right turn. We're getting to 3,000 now. Cool. On that RNAV approach, let's keep slowing down. 180. Turning towards runway heading. So the next altitude here was 1,600. So we're going to set 1,000. So did autopilot turn on? Not sure. Is autopilot on? Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. It's a little bizarre. I don't like hearing that. Alright. Go at about 800 feet per minute and keep slowing down. I think I could set another notch of flaps now. Yeah, 3, 190, 186, 180. So we're going to set another notch of flaps here. Hold about 170. And gear down at 2,500. And we're going to record our landing team. And record. There we go. So gear is coming down. I think I have the airport in sight. And we're looking to be at about 1,600 at PQ, Q, and F. Looks like we're going to be just about there. And keeping an eye on our speed now. Engines are pushing themselves up. Trying to hold about 800 feet per minute. So it looks like we're a little bit high. That's fine. I'd rather be high than be a little too slow. So I'm going to even put my vertical speed up a little bit here. And keep slowing down. I feel like that's very slow here. 127 on the approach, but maybe I have to trust it. I don't know. I usually like being more around 150, 140 because you want to stay away from that stall speed. Alright, looks like we're coming up on 1,600. Oh, I see the runway. Okay, so runway's closer than I thought. Runway's in sight. Going down all the way to 0. Setting our vertical speed down here. Alright, perfect. So, runway's in sight. Gonna start slowing down to about, I guess, 136. There we go. Runway's in sight over there. Alright, gonna get my feet on my rudder pedals here. And we're letting the planes kind of bring us in. Looks like we're a little bit high. So we are gonna put our vertical speed down. And we're gonna set flaps full here. And we're gonna hold at about this speed, 135. 1,000 feet. Auto throttle off. So I am controlling speed now. Alright. Looks like we're coming up a little bit fast now. Or putting our vertical speed back up. I am controlling our speed. Alright. Pappy's too white, too red, so we're looking good. I'm just gonna keep that autopilot going. Alright.
400.
And keep that speed up a little bit. We are slowing it down. Alright, here we come, Macquarie. Alright, I sped up a little bit. There. Just trying to stay. Alright, autopilot's off.
Minimum.
Alright, minimums, and we're continuing. Alright, trying to get back line here.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Alright. Alright, and we are down and braking hard. Reverse thrusting here. And we are down in Macquarie. Alright. Not too bad of a landing. Welcome to Macquarie, Australia, guys. Putting the flaps all the way back up. And spoilers can go back to retracted. That was a fun little approach there. Little RNAV into nice small airport in Australia. So I think this airport actually serves, you know, there's propeller planes, maybe some 737s and 320s from time to time, but I don't think this airport would ever see an Airbus 330 in real life, but in the flight sim, it does. Might have to roll on the grass here. Let's see if we can get this plane to turn without hitting the grass. Can we do it? I don't think we can do it. Oh, I think we did do it. Look at that. Oh yeah, we did it. Look at that. Alright, and making our way back to the airport. We're gonna taxi all the way. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that landing, that flight, whichever video you watched. I usually post the landing on its own, and then I'll post a full flight on another video. So yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. We got more videos coming. Leave a comment. Whatever plane you want to see fly. I'm used to flying every single plane on this game, so I know most of them. I could do some decent videos on the other ones. So thanks for watching if you're still here, and if you are, let's get taxiing all the way back to the main part of the airport there up in front of us. So we landed pretty smoothly. We did float a little bit, so I made sure to put the nose down fast and hard to get that full braking as fast as possible. So yeah, I think this might be taxiway Delta, but as you can see, taxiway Delta is not made for an Airbus 330. So hopefully this next taxiway is a little bit wider. Yeah, it looks a little bit wider there, so I'm gonna start getting wide here to make that turn. And tapping brakes. Yeah, this taxiway is a little bit bigger. And we'll just find a parking spot that looks good for us. Looks like there's some parking out there to the left. We've got a parking lot. Not even a fence between the parking lot and the airport. There probably is one in the real airport there. If anybody is watching is from Macquarie, Australia, send me a picture of what that airport looks like. I mean, I'm sure I could find it on Google. Yeah, you guys can see the type of planes that are usually here. We've got some little prop planes, and you just got this big 330 coming out of nowhere. So I think we'll just take this parking spot right here, right in front of this garage, and we'll call it a day. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be back with another video soon. See ya.